In this lesson, we're going to be learning Brown Sugar by Keith Richards and the Rolling Stones. So, a lot of the chord shapes we discussed in the previous lesson, many of them are in here. So basically, the song starts up here on the 12th fret, and it's our that one chord shape, that slash chord shape that I showed you. So this is basically a G over C. So I'm barring the 12th fret, A, D, G, B, and high E string. Put my second finger down on the on the 13th fret of the B string, and my third finger down on the 14th fret of the D string. We're gonna hit that, and then take it off to the 12th fret. And those are kind of staccato hits there. Then we go up here to the 5th fret. We do the same chord shape. We're going to start without our fingers down. 2 hits on the 5th fret. And then we hit the slash chord here. Okay, so it starts out like that. Then we do basically the same thing again. It just, you have an extra hit at the end, so it's, whereas before it was, you hear the difference? Okay, so then you do, let's go over that. So first two, it does this 4 times basically, first 2 passes. Then you do that again. And on the 4th one is like the first one. So that's the intro of Brown Sugar. Okay, in the next section, we're gonna start up here on the 8th fret with our major chord bar shape. But it's gonna start with our 9, adding that 9. So you're just adding the 3rd finger on the G string here, 2 frets up. So, that's basically what it is. So, 8th fret. Now the first pass through, I think he kind of stays out on the downbeat. So it's coming from the intro. Something like that. So just going back and forth from that, adding that 9 there. Then we go to the 5th fret. 5, then our slash chord. Then we go to the 1, the 1st fret. So it's major chord, then add that 9 with our 3rd finger, and then back, and then you go up to the 3rd fret, start with the 9, and then go to just the regular major chord. So real slow. And then it kind of wraps up like that. So 5. That's our regular slash chord there. One time through that part. Now, then when it goes around again, because it goes around a few times, then when he goes to that 8th fret, he does hit the downbeat. Then that brings us in to the verse. Okay, the verse starts out on a C, so it's the 5th fret, making that major chord. He does some kind of offbeat stuff, so it's like it comes on the and of 1, so it's 1. Okay, so that's just, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So that's 2 bars there. Then it goes up to this F, and he goes, it's a major shape, just barring the 10th fret. He does that twice. And it goes back to the C. Now, when he goes back to the C, and he doesn't play the verse the same way every single time. Rhythmically, he chops it up, and he's kind of known for being, some people might call it a sloppy player, but it's like sloppy in a cool way, which you can have, because it's not always the same, and he hits off beats. He just kind of does his thing. That's why he's Keith Richards and why he has a certain style. So when you go back to the C, you can do the same thing. I mean, you can kind of add some stuff to it, but it's a C for another 2 bars. So the verse, let me go from the beginning of the verse. Then we're going to go down here to a B flat. And it's going to go, and then back up to a C, and that brings us into the chorus. So it's 3rd fret, just the regular old major chord, no back and forth. And that's going to bring us to our open G chord, which hits the chorus. So one more time through the verse. Big open G chord for going into the chorus. So let's take a look at the chorus. Okay, the chorus is going to start out with our open G chord, and he might just really just hit the 5, the power chord, so it's just like the A and D string, but you could hit the whole chord. And he does this little riff here. And that's open G, and it's all on the G and B string, so you're going to hit the double stops. Open B and G, 3rd fret, back to the open, 5, barring that with my 3rd finger, and then back to the 2 open strings. So far we have. And then it goes up to the C, and we're going to alternate between that slash chords, C and F. So it's 2 on the C, then the slash, and then back, and then the slash again. You do that twice. And then you go back to the open G and the riff. And then it goes back to that little transition thing. And then we're back to a verse. So one more time on the chorus. 2, 3. That's it for the chorus. Okay, so all the rest of the parts we've gone over, it's just an arrangement thing. You can check out the tab that we've provided for the arrangement. The only other thing is that the last chorus, the tag that kind of repeats at the end, he kind of stops doing the riff, and it just goes back and forth from these 2 chords. So it's So this G, when you go to the G, instead of doing, it just does the same thing that it does here on the C. You're just doing it with an open G. So I'm just putting my first finger on the B string, my second finger on the D string, second fret, and we're just alternating between that major chord shape and the G/C chord shape. And then when it ends, it's going to end on the C, and you're going to come from the G. And you're going to go. So that's. And that's pretty much it for Brown Sugar. So a lot of those chord shapes we discussed are in there, and it's a very signature Keith Richards tune. So that's Brown Sugar by Keith Richards and the Rolling Stones.